There have been many stories of one team dominating another in a certain era. Even Michael Jordan felt that the Detroit Pistons were demolishing his Bulls in the late 1980s. The most recent case of such dominance dates not that long ago, when LeBron James led the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Toronto Raptors for 3 consecutive years. It wasn't the first time LeBron did that to a team. Early in his career, LeBron dominated Gilbert Arenas and the Washington Wizards, beating them in the first playoff round in 3 consecutive years, from 2006 to 2008. The Raptors were on his victim list even before that. In 2005, LeBron was in his second season and had probably his best game up to that point. He scored 56 points to set the record for most points by an NBA player in Toronto. The good news for Raptors fans was that at least the Cavaliers lost that game. It was also the most points he'd scored in a single game until March 2014, when he dropped 61 points on Charlotte. Toronto was one of his favorite places to play, and he proved that once again 3 years later. It was a matchup of 2 young stars, as LeBron faced Chris Bosh, and the game turned into a pretty funny and interesting story. LeBron started the game pretty badly, as he was airballing jump shots and missing dunks through the first 3 quarters of the game, and was just 6 for 19 from the floor, as the Raptors were holding the slight lead during most of the game and going into the fourth quarter with a 70-57 lead. But a pair of ladies in the courtside seats started to talk some trash towards the King. They would turn out to be Chris Bosh's girlfriend and cousin, as the game would take a dramatic turn of events. The trash-talking pumped up LeBron and made him go off and take over the game. He showed his whole repertoire with a sequence of threes, dunks, and jumpers while barking back at the 2 ladies after each basket. He would score 24 points just in the last quarter, while leading his Cavs to a comeback win on the road. LeBron finished the game with 39 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists, while Bosh had 23 points. "They're the reason the Raptors lost tonight, 'cause they ticked me off a little bit," said LeBron after the game. LeBron and Bosh became teammates in Miami when they joined forces with Dwayne Wade in 2010. Despite taking his talent south, the team from the North remained one of the favorite opponents to LeBron, and he was a perfect 14-0 against the Raptors in his 4 years with the Heat. So this dominance over the team from Canada already looks brutal, but that was just a preview of what is about to follow. When LeBron returned to Cleveland, what was about to happen was worse than the Raptors' nightmares. The Raptors were quietly building a respective team. They drafted DeMar DeRozan in 2009 and added point guard Kyle Lowry in 2012. These two loved to play together, and they quickly gave the Raptors fans a reason to be excited about for the first time since Vince Carter left the team. Going into the 2015-16 season, the Raptors had only one playoff series win in 20 years since joining the league. DeRozan and Lowry became all-star players, and better days for Toronto were ahead. At least it looked like that. The Raptors finished second in the Eastern Conference with a 56-26 record, only 1 win shy of the Cleveland Cavaliers and winning more than 50 games for the first time in the team's history. DeRozan averaged a career high of 23.5 points per game that season, and Lowry, for the first time in his career, was making over 20 points per game. The Raptors were back in the playoffs and were hoping to survive the opening round after failing to do so in the previous 2 seasons. They squared off against the Indiana Pacers, who had a young Paul George as a leader and Monta Ellis in his lone entire season in Indiana. The series went to Game 7, where DeMar DeRozan scored 30 points for the Raptors, who won 89-84 and made it to the second playoff round for the second time in franchise history. The Miami Heat awaited them there, and the series went 7 games again. This time, Kyle Lowry was the hero, dropping 35 and 9 assists in a 116-89 blowout victory to send the Raptors to the conference finals. The Cavaliers were waiting there after they swept the Detroit Pistons in the opening round and then eliminated the Atlanta Hawks in 6 games in the second. In the conference finals, the Cavs made a statement in the opening 2 games of the series, beating Toronto by 31 and 19 to take a 2-0 series lead. It looked like the series would be over soon, but the Raptors managed to hit back. DeRozan proved that he is one of the best young players in the league, scoring 32 points, and with Bismack Biyombo grabbing 26 rebounds, the Raptors were on the board. Game 4 was another tough battle, and DeRozan and Lowry combined for 67 points to tie things up at 2 wins apiece. From that point on, it was all Cleveland. They won by 38 in Game 5 to hand the Raptors their worst playoff loss to this day. In the next game, the Raptors hoped to force another Game 7, but LeBron gave them no chance, leading the Cavs with 33 points and 11 rebounds to a 113-87 win. In that series, LeBron averaged 26 points, 8.5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block, shooting 62% from the field. Lowry and DeRozan both averaged over 20 points in the series, but the Raptors found no way to slow LeBron down. The Raptors were disappointed by the loss, but at the end of the day, that was their best season ever, and they lost to the future champions as the Cavaliers went on to beat the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. The Raptors could not wait for another opportunity to face the Cavs. In the offseason, they made a couple of additions hoping to lift them over Cleveland. They signed one of the best defenders on the wing, PJ Tucker, and the 2-time shot-blocking leader, Serge Ibaka. DeRozan and Lowry made another All-Star appearance, and both recorded their career-high average in points per game. The Cavaliers finished the season 3rd in the Eastern Conference with a 51-31 record, the same as the Cavaliers, who were 2nd. The Cavaliers had another first-round sweep, this time over the Indiana Pacers, while the Raptors defeated the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 games to secure another clash against LeBron. The last time they faced LeBron, the Raptors were just happy to be there, but this time they had high expectations. However, LeBron had other things in mind. The series started with LeBron's 35-point performance to lead the Cavs to a 116-105 win. Lowry had a solid game for the Raptors, scoring 20 points and dishing out 11 assists, but that made no difference. Game 2 had a similar outcome, with LeBron going for 39 and the Cavs winning by 22. There was no panic button in Toronto as they tied the series last season after going to Toronto 2-0 down. This time, Cleveland gave them no chance of even thinking of coming back into the series. They won by 19 in Game 3, led by LeBron, who had 35 points and 7 assists. The Raptors knew that no team has ever come back from a 3-0 hole, but they played for their pride and wanted to avoid being swept. Again, LeBron had other plans. He dropped 35 again and had 9 rebounds in the Cavaliers' 109-102 Game 4 win. That was one of the highest scoring series in his playoff career, as he averaged 36 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists, scoring at least 35 in every game. The Raptors were not as bad as it seemed. Tucker and Ibaka actually did their part of the work, locking the paint and not allowing LeBron to go for easy layups or dunks, but the King turned on to shooting and made all kinds of shots in the series. He shot 57% from the field, 48% from deep, and 84% from the free throw line, the best shooting series of his playoff career. LeBron was so confident in that series that he actually had fun while torturing the Raptors. The Cavaliers went on to beat the Boston Celtics in 5 games in the Eastern Conference Finals to lose to the Warriors in 5 in the NBA Finals. Again, the Raptors were in the same place, having a long summer ahead of them, thinking about beating LeBron and the Cavs. The Raptors looked nowhere around the league to sign new players, but turned to the young force they had. Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby got more playing time and took advantage of the opportunity. Suddenly, the Raptors had a deep rotation that seemed ready and hyped up to take on LeBron. The Raptors finished on top of the Eastern Conference, winning a franchise record 59 games in the regular season. The Cavaliers, on the other hand, had many problems. Kyrie Irving demanded a trade, openly stating that he did not want to be in LeBron's shadow anymore. The Cavaliers sent him to the Celtics and got Isaiah Thomas in return. Thomas was the second best scorer in the league the previous season, but the Cavs got a player with an injured hip who was not even close to the player he was in Boston. The Cavs were forced to be active on the trade market, but no player that arrived in Cleveland didn't bring any stability. The Cavaliers looked vulnerable like never before. They finished fourth in the Eastern Conference with 50 wins and 32 losses. The Cavaliers played the Indiana Pacers in the opening round, but unlike 2 seasons before, the Pacers were ready for a fight. LeBron started strong, having a triple-double in Game 1 of the series, but the Pacers managed to win on the road. James came back with a 45-point performance to tie the series before moving to Indiana. The Pacers won Game 3 and showed they were ready for a sensation. LeBron didn't think so. In Game 4, he scored 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists to tie the series before moving back to Cleveland. The Pacers didn't back down, but the King showed his dominance by hitting a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer, closing a 44-point night. The Pacers punched back with a 34-point win in Game 6 before LeBron dropped 45 in Game 7 to take the Cavs to the next round. He finished that series with an average of 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. You already guessed who was waiting for them next. The Raptors went past the Wizards in 6 games and looked like the favorites in the series against the Cavs. For the first time in 3 seasons, the Raptors had the home court advantage and a deep roster that could actually beat the Cavs. LeBron did not have Kyrie Irving on his side, which was felt in the opening game of the series. The Raptors led the entire game and had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. LeBron didn't back down and tied the game with a turnaround jumper in the last minute. The game went to overtime, and the Raptors failed under pressure. LeBron had 26 points and 13 assists to lead the Cavs to a 113-112 win. The Raptors came in Game 2 with a must-win mentality, and LeBron took care of them quickly. The King scored 43 points in the 128-110 Cavs win to give the Cavs a 2-0 lead. During the last quarter of the game, the Raptors announcer said, "We'll be back to Lebronto," a quote that went viral immediately. The Raptors went to Cleveland with a 2-0 deficit and put up a fight in Game 3. The game was tied, with the Cavs having the final possession. LeBron took the ball with 8 seconds left on the game clock and scored on a wild floater on one leg to win the game. The Raptors were so frustrated after being the better team in 2 of the 3 games. That didn't help them at all in Game 4. LeBron dropped 29 points, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds to lead the Cavs to a 128-93 win. It was another huge disappointment for the Raptors, who decided to make huge moves. In the offseason, they traded DeMar DeRozan, the fan favorite in the previous 9 years in Toronto, and Dwayne Casey was fired despite winning the Coach of the Year award the previous season. Somehow, these changes proved to be right as the Raptors won the NBA championship the following year. But the bruises LeBron left on them will never heal.